Live, so we should be live. If I pressed all the right buttons in the right order, we should be live. So today I plan to have on MG the Future. We were supposed to do this a minute ago, but I got sick right at the wrong time. We had an initial guest over, and then right after that guest, I got sick. Hold on, let me flip this camera. Let's flip. How do you do this? Video. We're on mirror. There we go. Okay. But yeah, so initially we were supposed to have this conversation, but I initially got sick. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want competitors trying to just poke when I'm sick and just be annoying. So that's how you guys got that 10-hour course. It's because I was actually down for like 4 days, just struggling. And then right as I was sick, we had family come by, and it just was too much going on. So we were supposed to do this probably 2 weeks ago, but it's my end of things as to why we're behind on this conversation. So today I want to have on MG the Future, potentially really just to go back and forth about just current events, but also our music production techniques, because he's a sound designer. He makes products at mgthefuture.com. You guys can find his chord book. I just showed you guys that yesterday. You load that up in Scalar, and you can play chords of like Pharrell, just any dope other genres. That's how you get outside of your genres. You need to have the right chords. Harmony is everything. And then you could actually turn those harmonies into melodies using Scalar 2 Performance. What up, Stefan is here. Or Stefan. We got Kay in here. We got Yuliak. So I guess I'll get the conversation started. Excuse me. Is the one thing MG the Future showed me, well, two main things. But the one big thing he showed me, what's up, Cappy, is the Melodyne technique. So for example, I one of our biggest shorts, and this is all, and I meant to credit him in the video, but I posted it too fast, and then it blew up too fast, and I was like, freak, I can't redo the video now. I forgot. What up, Tom? But one person I would like to keep crediting for that video is MG the Future, because he showed me how these kids are basically using Melodyne to record. And this is, again, the video has probably 2 million views or something crazy. And this is all from MG the Future giving me this information. So basically what the kids will do is they'll record their favorite songs, like, Sting, for example, the melody of Sting. They'll record that audio into Melodyne. And when you have Melodyne open, what you could do is actually transcribe the audio into MIDI, and you can export the MIDI. Anytime you guys see YouTubers, especially producers, who just magically have MIDI on their piano roll, they didn't show how they played it, they didn't show how they drew it in. And it's not only MIDI, but it's also unquantized everywhere. It's not quantized. That's how you know that they probably got the MIDI from, an actual performance. And they just, instead of taking the master recording, they took the MIDI out of it. So yeah, people are using Melodyne Editor to do that. And I've even seen people record a song like that, and then they'll change the notes within Melodyne, and then they'll export it out. So I've seen both ways. And again, will you ever know the secret? They're probably not going to ever tell you because they don't want it to trace back to them. But yeah, anytime you guys see these guys doing guitar melody videos and they never show them playing the guitar MIDI, or you see hit songs and you're like, they did a beat breakdown, but they don't explain how they played it. If they're clicking in notes, how are you getting unquantized notes and velocity changes everywhere? That would take forever to actually program. Chances are they did this technique. Real quick, let me shout out Razor. He says, hey man, I learned from you a lot when I start. Let me clear my throat real quick. All right, you guys should be able to hear me now. Razor says, hey man, I learned a lot from you. When I started, I had 100 subs, but I have 100,000 subs and millions of views. Your tutorials helped me a lot. Dang, I'm going to have to screenshot that because that is a big time testimonial. Shout out to you. I like the before and after story you just told there, Razor. Thank you. That's dope. I'm going to post that to Instagram. That's a dope story. Yeah, I try to share sauce. One thing that I've learned in content creation, not to make this about myself, but just to give some encouragement to you guys, is like there really are no secrets. I mean, maybe I'll withhold information just because I just don't want competitors to just be, D heads basically and just copy and just steal everything. Because it's happened so many times that and I'm sure me and MG the Future can relate on that. Is that what up, Crispy? I was just thinking about you last night because what was I looking up? Not to make this about some random stuff, but what was I looking up? I was looking up something had me looking up 500 series or something. I forget what sparked that initial rabbit hole. What was it, man? It's going to bother me. I think, it was a video this guy made about Behringer audio interface and how it sounded similar to Neve preamps or something like that. And I was like, really? Behringer, $150 audio interface with 8 mic pre's and it sounds like a Neve? And I Googled it on Sweetwater. I found it. It's really $150, which is insane to think. And then I started going down the rabbit hole of West Audio. I typed in Weiss Audio by accident. I was like, I don't remember these things being $10,000. And I spelled West Audio wrong. And it reminded me of how you put the good use, that 500 series and that all the gear or whatever, because you're about that life. Like I was thinking, whose studio was I looking at? I think I was just thinking of the concept of analog. Like for analog, it seems fun at first, but then you're like, okay, I gotta manage all these cables. I gotta manage the power supplies. I gotta manage any ground looping. I gotta manage just recording into the DAW. Like hopefully there's no dropouts in the audio, because that used to happen to me. The audio would just drop out. And you really you can't get one thing, you need all the things. And so I was thinking of you just in passing as far as, just the techniques and how you get such a clean recording. And I was thinking like, can we get that type of recording in the DAW without any hardware? I doubt it. That West Audio, what is it, 1176 or whatever? I forgot the names. It's like Mimos. Okay, the West Audio Mimos. Like I used to compress that thing 20 dB and it made the vocals sound just clean. I'm like, there's no way I can get this sound in a DAW. Maybe with FabFilter Pro C2, but I doubt it. And so I just had a thought about you yesterday. So shout out to you, Crispy Akiyama. Also, Gray Fox is here. KN says, and shout out to Fun Facts and Plug MP3. KN says Logic has the function called Flex, which basically creates a MIDI from the sample. Okay, so I didn't know I got to try that. Thank you for that tip. But Melodyne, there's a guy who's a secret godfather of all the software behind the scenes. His name is Ray. And I believe he is the distributor for Guitar Center. And like basically the people who want to get their software into retail, they go through Ray. He's a black man and he's super smart and he's super just like behind the scenes, but he's super in a powerful position. And one thing he told me, he's like the guy who created Melodyne. Speaking of this Melodyne story, the guy who created Melodyne, the way he found it was he was trying to find the frequency of a rock. So it had nothing to do with music. I think he was trying to find the frequency of a rock so that they could go out and find oil or something. But basically, or I might be mixing stories up with autotune. But he wanted to find the frequency of a rock. I was like, why would anybody want to find the frequency of a rock? It's because if you can find the natural frequency of a thing, you can actually move that thing with the same exact frequency. So anytime your song moves somebody, it's literally because their frequency is matching the frequency of the song. So you could tell a lot, by what people listen to, because that's what type of energy they're on, quite literally. It moves them. Okay, so there's science behind this where you can use sound waves to move objects. Same with our physical bodies. We're pretty much primarily built of waves. And there's something called wave interference, positive wave interference, negative wave interference. When you have positive wave interference, +1 + 1 equals +2. If you do +1 - 1, you get flatness. If you get -1 - 1, you get -2. And that's called polarity. And it's all about perspective. But yeah, that's the craziness about Melodyne, is that it goes that deep. And so it's the most accurate tool I've seen for extracting melodies and chords from a song, because literally the person who did it was trying to find the frequency of a rock. So imagine how meta layer that is. Gray Fox is here, what up? Just Live is here, what up? Carlos says, how to use a compressor. Great question. Compressors for me, I only really use them on vocals and maybe bass. I was thinking about that recently. Like I don't really use compressors a lot, maybe for acoustic stuff more so, for like drums and stuff. But for the stuff that we do, it's like, when will you really pull out a compressor outside of the vocal and maybe to contain the bass? I don't really have any other instrument I would add a compressor to because it would take away the dynamics. So I guess you could technically use a compressor for side chaining. So there is that, like the pumping effect. So outside of those things, multiband might be more appropriate. But yeah, I mean, compression I think is kind of overly rated in hip hop, but at the same time, it's more simple than people make it out to be. I saw something crazy from, I think, mastering.com, and it was a whole 10-hour course, which inspired my 10-hour course on music production, to be fair. But something crazy, I was like, they made a 10-hour course about compression, which I'm like, you might as well spend the time just compressing something and figuring out what it sounds like than sitting there trying to understand the components of compression for 10 hours. That's insane to me. Just about one concept, but it shows how deep that rabbit hole goes. I'm sure Crispy, I would love to have you on too if you're down. I think I promised to go. There's so many things. I have collabs that I need to do with CG, Crispy, my brother, freaking my cousin. Who else? I say we were going to collab, but that computer issue messed me up for like at least 9 months. Now I have a computer. I'm like trying to remember everybody I made a promise with. But yeah, Crispy, it'd be dope to go live with you if that's something you would like to do. Now that you have a YouTube, I could, put the YouTube, let people know where to subscribe and stuff. And just your journey, because Crispy he goes down the rabbit hole in a different way. Like, I do like Mixbus TV. I like mixing, I like recording, but Crispy takes it to the layer beneath, which is like, okay, here's the different types of compressors, the FET compressor, the VCA compressor, the, what's the other one called? A Mu compressor, or whatever the other algorithm is. Then you have the, FET, VCA. See, I'm forgetting already. You have there's another compressor out there that I don't even know. And it's about Fourier transfer, something like Fourier transfer form. Look at me not knowing the words. But it gets deep. It gets really deep. There's a whole book that's like this thick. And my head is like that. Okay, so imagine the width of my head. Almost, well, maybe like shaved off maybe a couple inches. Is this book called like basically it's a Bible for sound engineering, and it's called like Sound Engineering Handbook. Let me find it because I can't do you guys justice just kind of winging the title, but it's called like Sound Engineering Handbook. Here it is, Handbook for Sound Engineers. Okay, so here's a PDF apparently on some website called Beglas. Okay, so here's the PDF. Okay, Sound Engineers. I'll link it in the chat here. All right, so by Glenn Ballou, and I'm going to scroll to a random page here just to show you guys. Hold on, this thing. Okay, there's 1,800 pages in this whole book, and this is the stuff I want to get into, which is the physics of it, because I loved physics when I was in college. I didn't get too much into the calculus part of physics, but I did love like the resistor and the ohms and the power and the voltage and all that. So I want to study this. And also Young Guru, I saw him doing the DIY components, which really inspired me to get back into like the physics of audio. Because audio, truly, if you go all the way down to it, the way you create an oscillation is by using the physics of voltage. And so I wanted to get to this layer of music, but the book is 1,800 pages long. You know what? I'm going to send this link out to the folks. Let them know this is even available on somebody's random WordPress site. So basically, what was I saying this to say? I forgot. So there's something called like a transform. I forgot why. Oh, VCA. Okay, VCAs, voltage controlled amplifiers. Again, I kind of forgot where I like. But basically, music goes all the way down to this layer. I kind of forgot my initial point there. Oh, you said I'm a bit behind on the stream, but I'm definitely down for that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I set my stream to delay 30 seconds or so. So thank you. And let me write this down before I forget, because I say stuff and I'll be forgetting the next 5 seconds. Crispy live. But yeah, for at least 9 months, my computer was just acting up. I couldn't go live. It was just messing up. Oh, gotcha, Drew. Thank you. Yeah, but this book I have the physical copy downstairs. It's just a Bible for all things sound. So you think, not you, meaning I'm not talking down to you guys. I'm saying we think that, a 10-hour compressor course is going to be all we need to know about compression. Then you get to realize that there's this level, which is like college physics level for audio. And I really got to appreciate the people who dedicate their journey to that level of audio. That's audio engineering, which is a whole different concept. And the people who dedicate their life to this, they do deserve the money that we pay for their plugins. They do deserve the money we pay for their gear, because we're not doing this work. Like, what the freak? I don't even know how to read this. I know R stands for resistor. C is a capacitor. What else do we have? V is the voltage input. That's all I could really tell you. I don't know how to like actually read the schematic, but one goal I have is to be able to create schematics, and Young Guru definitely inspired me to do that, because he was doing a DIY project from, I'm going to forget the name of the company, but dang, what's the name of it? Now I got to look. Darn, my phone's over there. So I'll put DIY audio equipment. Maybe it'll pop up, maybe not. Okay, it's called DIY recording equipment. Here we go. Now, this is another company I want to invest in, because I want to learn how to solder, because I never did this at college. I didn't go to college about music, or audio, I should say. So I want to learn how to solder guitar pedals. I want to learn how to solder mic pre's to create my own little setup. So they claim to have the same physics as, like a, what is this here? CP5 kind of looks like an API. I don't know what their equivalents are. Okay, so L2A, I assume, is an LA2A. I have no idea. I have no idea what it actually mimics. But you have saturation circuits. I figured, you have tape emulation. This one looks like a Neve for tape color. That'd be fire to make your own like tape. And they have a 1073, Neve 1073 that you can make. Now it's $400, but it's cheaper than the actual $1,000 500 series. And plus you get to learn. So that's what I want to do. Is Young Guru got me into this company here. It is a little bit of a craft here, a little bit of a hobby-ish type prices. But, I figure one project at a time, and then, going deeper with it. So long story short, seeing the stuff like this made me realize, how you build those things is you have to learn the engineering, and not only the engineering, but the CAD, the computer aided drafting, because when you manufacture stuff, you have to give, it's almost like an FL Studio project. Like you can't print the song that I have on my computer unless I share all my project files. So the same thing with audio. You can't print this microphone unless I give you the CAD files, basically. And so there's a program called Eagle, which I wanted to learn as well for CAD purposes. So I could produce products. Like I want to get into like real products that sound dope. And I want to compete against their thought, because at the heart of what we do, we're sound designers. It's like, all we got to do is figure out how to create the sound we want to create. And that's how we're going to create our own stuff. So that's my goal. So I challenge you guys to really go deeper with the audio. Like I said, the rabbit hole goes way, way deep. Like it's insanely deep. Now, do you need to know everything in this book? You probably don't need to know not one thing in this entire book. But if you plan to make products like a microphone, speakers, converter, that type of stuff, then you need to know audio engineering, because you have to learn how to manipulate electricity in order to shape waveforms. And that's what that's all about. Let me say my hellos real quick. Just live. We got Carlo. We got Bellaville. Amir from Turkey. Shout out to you. JPX is here. He even put the crispy Akiyama emoji. What are the odds of that happening? That's so strange. If y'all don't know, Crispy uses like a very few specific things of emojis. One is I forget what that thing is called, but like the Japanese archway thing. And then another one is the magnet. So the fact that you put that right after his chat is pretty insane. The music box, what up? Gray Fox says 2 ads took me off the stream. Oh dang, sorry to make the ads a part of your experience. I understand. I'll put it in the chat. I won't say how to use it, but look this up, because a family member put me onto this. I'll just put it in the chat. I won't say keywords because I don't want it to mess up stuff. But look up that. It's completely legal, but look that up, okay? Because that will allow you guys to listen to a video and then be able to, on iPhone, you basically have to swipe up to get out of the Safari app. Then you swipe down so that you can see the master play button, hit play, and then close your phone, and it will actually play the video. So again, I won't go into super detail, but that's how you guys can, get around a lot of the shenanigans. Busy said, or excuse me. Drew says I quit weed again. There you go. Yeah, usually when people, and then this is from just, I've never had, this journey, so I don't know the actual physicality of it or physiology of it. But the people who I've seen to quit that, actually, it takes a lot of fortitude because you have to get past certain phases. It's like the phase of withdrawal, then the phase of rage, then the phase of, feeling it like you have to fill a void again. So the fact that you did it just initially is good. Whether you, find yourself going back to it here and there, just have grace on yourself to understand that this society was built to manipulate our hormones, whether through food or behavioral conditioning. Like a lot of the stuff we do is not our intent. It's because it's social engineering. Like the black community, for example, people never want to live near black folks is a reason. It's because black people were basically conditioned socially to be like pit bulls. What up, Platinum? And, not saying all black people are evil, but like it's literally designed like the hoods and the ghettos and the projects, called a project for a reason. Their project was to manipulate our genetic behavior so that we keep passing it on to the next and the next and the next. So breaking out of that cycle is a superpower. So I encourage you to keep your focus. Something I haven't had to realize was, some days in business feel like you're just passing time. And I realized, it's because I'm not challenging myself enough. Like I need to make bigger challenges. So instead of doing one video, I'm like, how do I create an entire 10-course bundle? Like then your mind starts to feel like you have something to build and you stop treading. So I constantly remind myself of that. And in all 2024, I was super stressed. Like I gained more grades than I've ever had my entire life from 2024 because of a lot of changes on the back end. And, I was eating cookies. You guys saw my cheeks all like out to here and just looking out of shape. It's because I was just trying to pass the day, just trying to trudge through it or drudge through it, whatever the word is. Just eating cookies to satisfy the dopamine I needed to get to the next thing because it was just so pain related in 2024. Mental pain, not actual physical pain. And so I understand, swap out cookies for, in your case, weed. Somebody else's case, an opiate. Somebody else's case, what else is like some, alcohol. Somebody else's case, food. It's whatever the thing is, it still has something that changed. And not to overly talk about this, is something that helped me, for example, was to see my body as like, for example, it's the mind that controls the brain and the brain controls the body. So I was like, okay, if I am not controlling the results I want, I need to kick something or somebody out of the mind part. So I had to create like a visual for it. Like I'm removing whoever it is from office and I'm taking control of the mind because the mind controls the brain and the brain controls the body. And I had to make a power move to say, F whoever is in the mind area, we can call it spiritual world, whatever. Not that I was possessed, but it's like when your body hormones are overridden. And I saw Colt Caparone, I think, Caparone. I just was watching Platinum's video about his, response, his initial video, and then also the apology, I think. But then I saw Colt's 2-video series. We all watch everything basically in the producer community. And what we don't realize as humans is that our body works off of 95% of the day is controlled by our subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind consists of also our hormones, and something we can't comprehend because it's not a conscious thing is the cycle of behavior. The only way people see themselves is through a mirror. And if other people are the mirror and they keep rejecting the mirror, they're not going to see themselves, their true selves, because we're not tuned to see the negative of our self-image. And because everything is so behavioral, it's on a cycle. We don't even realize we're doing it. I might wipe my face or touch the back of my head because I hit my head one time and I keep touching it to make sure nothing is like nothing's wounded. And so that's a habit I might do that I don't even know I'm doing because it's in my unconscious competence. I'm doing it out of a habit and I don't even know I'm doing it. And it's the reason why Timbaland's great, Pharrell's great, John Legend is great. They practice so much that they don't have to think about stuff. But that can also be a negative for humans, is that we practice negative behaviors or things that are detrimental so much that we don't realize we're doing it. And the only way to know is for somebody else to bring it down to what's called conscious competence by being aware of a habitual habit. So the fact that you somehow found your mirror, Drew, is good for you, because that's all you need to know in order to now be aware of the thing. And now it's up to you to kick the power that be out of the office. And now you take power over the mind, and the mind controls the brain, and the brain controls the body. So that's how I look at getting off of things, is just a power move. It's like going to war with whatever the F thought it was taking over your mind. So I had to go to war with cookies, for example. I know it sounds stupid, but I was eating a lot of cookies in 2024 because it was a stress response. It was so much stress going on. It was like crazy. How you say it? Akari King. I thought those are like brackets. I missed a question real quick. It says, yo, Busy, is your plugin Hercules good for R&B and neo soul music? I wouldn't say so. R&B and neo soul, you're really looking at a Rhodes plugin. The Rhodes released the Rhodes V8. I do have e-pianos and stuff, but I wouldn't say it's built for R&B and soul. I'm not going to sit here and act like it was more built for R&B as far as the cool textures and cool sounds, but neo soul is really centered around that Rhodes. And you can get different sounds of Rhodes, like a bitey Rhodes, a smoother Rhodes. So I don't want to sit here like my product is that, because it's not that exactly. It's more of a creative. Think of my product as like Keyscape Creative or Sky Keys, something like that. Busy, how would I get more artists' emails so I can send out beat packs? Well, first you have to take away your intent. Because right now, if you approach me like, yo, how can I get your number to bother you about a product I want to push? I'd be like, I don't want your number. Don't bother me. Because the one mistake people make that I've seen, and this is top companies. This is not just beat makers. This is top companies. Oh, there's MG the Future. Oh, did I not invite? Sorry, my bad. My bad. My phone is the cam, so I didn't see any messages. My fault. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I'm just now seeing your chat. Hold on. Let me trying to think of a way where I could do this. Give me a second here. Okay, one sec. Dang, I didn't mean to have you. Hold on one second here. Zoom. But yeah, guys, go download this book. It's called Handbook for Sound Engineers. It's on somebody's WordPress site. I gave you guys that link, so give me a second. We're gonna invite MG the Future on live. Here's perspective. Hold on one sec. Hope I didn't eat up any of the Zoom minutes, because you know how Zoom has a limited time. I don't know if I start Zoom, does it eat up the minutes automatically? I don't know. But I assumed, whoops, I'm just showing my computer. All right, cool. Oh, man. It did it again. Okay, the flash came on. Let me turn that off. So here it is. Boom. All right, am I crooked? Sometimes I can't tell if my thing's crooked, so give me a second. Sometimes I get blurry and crooked. So I'm using my phone. I didn't know you could use your phone on the Wi-Fi to be a camera. Saves so much headache with the camera. But you have to download this thing called Epoch Camera, something like that. But let me read the chat before we hop into this conversation. Busy, how would I get more artists on my email? So again, it's goes back to the concept of when audio companies follow me or reach out to me, they're like, hey, how can we promote our thing through you? And it's like, okay, they didn't even think about me, what I need, what I would like to trade with or trade for. It's just all about them. And it turns me off from the company. I'm like, they don't value people. So you should figure out a way to do the opposite. What does the artist want? So you said, how do you get more artist emails? So ask the question in reverse. How do you be the opposite of that? You got to go out to help artists. Hold on. It's kind of like a girl. Like if you're going up to the girl like, yo, I just want your number so I could potentially sleep with you. They're gonna be like, well, that's not fun. unless they're just completely on that type of time. But most girls want to be valued, respected, romanced. Okay. So if you walked up to a girl that way, she would be like, "What are you like? Are you crazy?" So you can't do that with artists. Like, yo, I just want your email just so I can email you stuff and force it down your throat. Pause. So you got to figure out how to romance the artist in business, and how you do that is you solve their problems over time, and you add value. How do you do that? You got to read my book called The Producer Bible. It explains what value is. People want 5 things: social status, mastery, prevalence, which is mastery, health, wealth. Let me start over. They want wealth, health, or fitness of genes, social status, mastery, or power. So you got to figure out how to deliver those things to them. Oh, shooky. Now we got the MG the Future, and shout out to Crispy. He says he's caught up. Thank you, MG the Future.
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Is there any feedback from my microphone?
No, I'm on Zoom only with your stream currently. I won't pull it up on my phone so I can see the chat too, but everything is clear. I can see you, I can hear you.
There he goes. He's just like, I can hear you. I've solved all problems before I entered the room. Now, for those who don't know it, here's my fiance just hopped in, but I'm gonna have to greet them later. Is for those who don't know, MG the Future, I was crediting you for the technique you taught me where kids were using Melodyne to extract MIDI from songs, and then they would position it in FL Studio and recreate songs, kind of like the dun 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 dun, that Sting song, for
Yeah.
example. Because anytime you see the unquantized MIDI with all these velocity changes and a kid clicks in notes, it doesn't add up. You know, where did they get this MIDI from?
They got to go back to math class. That's all.
So you put
It's
me
all
on,
math. MIDI's all math.
and I wanted to credit you for that because the video is doing insane. It's just like getting millions and millions of views. But when I made the video, I forgot to initially credit you, and then it was too late. It blew up too fast, and I was like, "Freak!" Now I gotta.
Trust me. All the people in the tribe are gonna find me regardless, brother. You ain't got to worry about that. I'm not doing this for credit. I'm just trying to give the keys back to everybody else.
Right, and something that frustrates us is like you create the concept, and then
Mhm.
somebody creates a spinoff, and then they're credited as the originator, the innovator, and it's frustrating because in science you can't do that. In science, you can't just be like, you know what,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found the theory
That's
of
hip hop.
relativity.
That's hip hop right there. Hip hop is born off of, everyone who came to America. I heard you talking about that a little bit earlier. Like the birth of hip hop. Yeah, I remember. I'm from here, guys. My family's been here for the past 500 years. Um, you would call us Tartarian giants, but Tartarians are only like 6'3". But that's a whole nother story for another day. So my family, same everything. We've been here this whole time. And what you have walked into, or what you have noticed, especially with the advent of hip hop around the mid 80s when I was born, is the fact that all of these new recently integrated people from the islands, Africa, Europe, Arabia, they all kind of met us for the first time. And in that, like you were talking about supply and demand, opportunities, cooperation, or the opposite, and a lot of bad agents sowing seeds in between us. And one group in particular thought it wise, I guess, to keep my family near them so that we could teach them all these musical and mathematical secrets. All I am is a direct descendant of the people who taught the West music.
Mm.
We're the tribe that invented it. It's called the tribe of Judah. You might know them by other names like Yuda, or if you speak to our language, is Johann. You will call him John, but that Y-O, that Y is a J. There's no J in Hebrew. So it would be Johann. Johann Smith L., Pennsylvania colony, New York. Benjamin Banneker, that is my direct grandfather. He's the first person to write in English in this country, literally.
Oh
It's the
wow.
only reason I have those formulas is because
Did
it's in me. I am John Smith the Explorer's 13th grandson.
I love
So
that.
think about the King James Bible. John Smith brought it here. That's because King James is his father. But we're not English, right? Look at me. Those are my grandfathers directly. I can show you. They created music.
Right.
But I'm going to help everyone out. You love the Bible. It's King James Bible. So it would be called the King Jameson Bible. We're
Shout
not
out to
English. So I'm going to flip it one more time for you. It's going to click real fast. King Genghis. Genghisin. My grandfather's Genghis Khan. So that means these immigrants ripped us off. They ripped off our Bible, they ripped off our language, they ripped off our math, they ripped off our music, they ripped off our tutorials. This is the same story I lived through for at least 400 years. Literally. They got a white guy talking about he's Benjamin Franklin. We're the Banks. We're from Pennsylvania. You know who the Banks family is? We're Bankles. They took the EL and made it Bankers. So now they run banks. But Bankels, no, no, we're more specialer than that. We're doing what me and Busy are doing right now, putting music on the map. They don't understand nothing.
I love that you broke it all the way down, and I love your new pathway of content, which is really going deep into the, because at first it was, you had your show Spicy Sundays where it's producer community conversations. Then it moved to your solo act, which was getting into, what is it, 3 a.m.s. That was the theme. Now it's on the highest level that I try to keep up with, but it's so advanced that it takes a lot of knowing. And that's the level that you're on now, which
Oh, no,
is,
no, no, no. It's not a level. When I speak to you, especially you or my brothers, I'm not trying to speak to you guys like I'm an authority or something. I might be an author, but the right word is an orator. Because the tribe of Judah, all we do is freestyle. We don't got to write nothing down. So
right.
what you've noticed when you met me is that I knew who I was my whole life. I got onto YouTube and started with music because that's my birthright. Like Judah invented music. If you read Psalms 137, the first two lines, you're going to see all of our instruments. So you mentioned Sting earlier, that doom, 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 doom. That's an Al-Andalusian cadence. But we're not from Al-Andalusia. We don't have ALs. We're EL. We're L-Andalusians. Totally different story for another day. It means we're from Venus. We'll get there eventually. So I haven't done anything, but there's a commandment that says honor your mothers and fathers. Busy. My whole thing, the reason why I didn't try to make a lot of money or sell a whole bunch of packs or do a whole bunch of courses or paywalls is because how can I sell my family to the world if the world already stole it from my family?
Right. That was an inception. How can I say that one more time so my brain can count? How can I say that one more time for me?
As a representative of the families, the Bankels, the Smithels, the Beasleys, the Lighties, the tribes, all 12 of us. I'm all 13 of them inside, right? So if I'm representing my family who came to these lands 400 years ago and built everything around you, except for the wood stuff, we didn't use wood. But and you start to get the clue of the wood pirates and the wood ship people who came over here, and they're always burning down fires. They're not as advanced as my family is. That's a fact.
I love
Just
it.
like on YouTube, no one's really as advanced as I am, but that's because of my family and with their sacrifices. You're from my family's territory, Pennsylvania. Benjamin Franklin,
Once,
Benjamin Banneker, Benjamin Bankel. You're from my grandfather's territory. That's why we resonate.
no, I love that. 1 second. My son just came back. Let me grab him real fast, okay? I hate to interrupt the conversation. Hold on 1 second.
I don't forget anything. It's almost like my calling. Shout out to the chat out there. Shout out to everyone learning how to make beautiful music. I hope that you are enjoying yourself musically. I think music's the most powerful gift that we have because it integrates math. Music and math could fluctuate. Look at the baby.
This is your
Looking
uncle.
like the tribe of Judah, maybe.
Uncle MG said maybe.
I like that fro. That's what I'm talking about. The fro. Look at him.
Say hi to your Uncle MG. Can you say MG the future?
And he got the green shirt on. Come on now. Come on.
What does that mean?
I love the Ninja Turtles. You know what I'm talking about?
The Ninja Turtles.
There's 4 Ninja Turtles, right?
You're funny. The
It's
French.
Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael. That's my family.
Oh, Leonardo. I didn't think about that. He is a Ninja Turtle name, huh?
Yeah, Judah is Leo, the tribe of lions, because we have connected beards and afros.
I love how you know the meta layer of all this, so basically you're saying like, this is how I felt earlier. Hopefully he doesn't mess with, he's
If
Terrence.
you cook in that direction, I'm not. This is not a meta layer. I'm telling you my family story. I know my family story. I don't know anything deep. I don't know anything in books. I'm just forwarding to you why all of this is how it is. It's because it's my family story. That's what I'm trying to say. King James Bible is his family. It's Genghis Khan's family. Genghis Khan came here. Do you call it Mongolia or Tartaria over there in Russia? That's why Putin has our pictures. Remember Putin with Tucker Carlson? He showed you these people my color with a connected beard, afro, and there's UFOs and light behind their head. Those are the L's.
Oh, with those, like, I always wonder why they had a glow behind their head.
Okay, can I tell you? Can I break that mystery for you?
For sure.
Our family is all 12 tribes plus one more. Past 400 years, we got one more tribe through my mother's side. But so imagine, if you will,
Thank you.
just I'm gonna just give you a metaphor.
I love
Imagine
it.
if we were watching a movie like Prometheus, perfect movie. But instead of making everything dark and dangerous and the giants are trying to kill you, think of it like those giants in Prometheus were my color and they actually love you. And that black stuff they're drinking is melanin. That's the type of things you pour into the water makes people a little bit more special. They start glowing. Like Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyans, you start as a monkey, but you see a full moon and you start glowing. All the same story. Because Genghis Khan is the head of the Yakuza Society, the Black Dragons. I'm
Right.
Yakuza. I'm the captain of the Yakuza Society. That's why my name is Daesan. It means Desan, Nissan, ninja, literally. We're a whole different type of creature. That's how we know who was stealing from us. So I'm not telling nobody's story. I'm telling you what this story is and why the world is going the way that it is.
Right
That's
now.
all.
I love
Right
that.
now.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So if you pay attention to the news, which most people are not right now because it's very uncomfortable, but Trump and Elon are working seemingly with something you call artificial intelligence. There's no artificial intelligence that works that fast. You had all the tokens. You know what I'm talking about. They can't even afford a good White House dinner. They had what, a bunch of McDoubles? I see the signs. I really pay attention.
And some Diet Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
Some Diet Coke or sugar-free Coke or whatever.
You understand something? That means they know that the regular drinks got something bad in them. Because like I know, Diet Coke tastes like trash, don't it? But they're holding you an aluminum can, right? They got an aluminum, silver talent, or aluminum talent. It's not even silver. And then I think they also got the golden one with the red on it. These are false talents. When you spray silver to make it gold, you get tungsten or fool's gold. So the two people running everything right now is a Tin Can Man and Fool's Gold. Switch it. Donald Trump is Drumpf. His father is, or his uncle is John Trump. John Trump got all the research from Nikola Tesla. So when Nikola Tesla died, studying all my family's buildings in Buffalo, New York, the World Fair where he turned the lights on, that's because when they got here, about 50 to 75 years prior, they turned the lights off because they were incompetent. They didn't understand our mathematics, and they still don't. But fast forward, so we got Nikola Tesla from Germany, allegedly. I'm the Holy Roman Empire of Germany. That's King Carlos V. That's my grandfather, one of them. I'm all four of them, by the way. But anyway, so you have Nikola Tesla, all the research trying to reverse engineer all the World Fair sites. They call them the Columbia Expeditions. That's why you think a Christopher Columbus came here. Never happened. I was here the whole time. Trust me, that never happened. And then John Trump, a nuclear physicist working at MIT, Yale, one of those early on, like in the 60s and 70s, around the whole NASA thing. They're trying to go to space, but they landed on the moon, but now they're setting up hot air balloons. Does that make sense? Understand? Not even Nikola Tesla could get out. Not even Elon Musk can get out. So how did NASA get out and call the president from the moon without latency? Me and you play Call of Duty. You shoot the shot and then you see the replay there around the corner and you died lately. You understand something? I'm not a dummy.
Yeah.
My parents couldn't make one of those. We're not mummies. We never died off. We've been here the whole time watching everything. That's why they say there's this scripture in the Bible. It says, be careful who you entertain, for you may be entertaining angels. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, funny. I have a quick little story. I had this, I'll say, revelation or spiritual experience, and where I was, I thought it was like a heavenly place, but like they look like people. I was like, oh, you don't know who is who. Like they all just look like humans.
Cool. So let's rewind this story. I gave you the whole story. If you had ChatGPT and you translated my words, you would read it down, the last thing I said backwards. And I told you the whole story. We started with, who were the people in Tartaria that looked just like me? Who
The
were the people in Tartaria that Putin showed Tucker Carlson that looked just like me? Beards, afros, and UFOs above them. But some of them had a disc behind their head. That was your question, right?
right,
And you just said that you should be careful who you're entertaining because you might be entertaining angels because they look just like me.
right.
Now you understand what I am.
It was funny when you said that. What was funny is the light that's on your left like started glowing. Like the light exposure started glowing. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a real thing. So my family that created everything, the reason why everything was so beautiful here is because they weren't men, they were angels. Bankel,
See.
angel. Smithell, angel. Beasley, angel. Lighty, angels. But in those pictures, there's only about two or three angels at a time. That's usually like the firstborn boy and the firstborn girl of every family. I'm the firstborn to every king of Israel.
Sick.
The kings of Israel are angels. So if you take my name that I gave you, I said that I am MG the future. Everyone always asks, what does musical genius stand for? Let's break it down backwards. The future, a time like right now. I got it from a book in the Bible called Jeremiah, where the Most High says, I didn't chastise you to hurt you, but to give you a hope and a future. This is right before the Obama time, 2007 Atlanta. I didn't even get a chance to meet Future. So boom, MG the future. Because a lot of people were saying, yo, you need a name that's like three syllables, like plain white tees. I was like, well, shoot, everyone call me MG. How about I do MG the future? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it work, busy. But then I realized I'm not three-fifths of a man. I'm a whole shooting star. So it's MG the future, five. The five is important, Allah. So if you do your music, you're talking about melodies earlier, you're doing a tap. But let me show you about my favorite melodies. They might go like this. Do 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 do. Beat notes. A lot of your favorite melodies are going to go to that five. 5 notes per measure.
That's interesting.
They call it Morse code. Morse code. We're not Morse or Norse. We're angels, so it's a little bit different. We use slashes. That's why the whole language in math is made with slashes. It's a whole different story. Mathematics, algebra is how you make music. That's why it's 12, sevens, and fives. They all add up, don't it?
Right. That is, look, he just gave y'all a bar. 12 sevens and fives. You really need to study the 7 and the 5 part.
Those are different tribes. When they come together, they make everything inside. See, you can learn music by playing through the 7 scales, but you can play that whole keyboard any way you want as long as you know the math. 7, 5s, 12s, 3s, and 9s. You can move around anywhere you want to go, and it'll always sound all right.
I love that because and firstly, Tyrone Sellers sent you a super chat. 9.99 says my 2 favorite content creators, Busy and MG the Future. Pause, Mr. Now. I don't know who. Oh, Mr. Now. I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, with 7, 5, and 12. Like 12, I was thinking about this. I was like, why is there 12 disciples, for example? And then we think about the keyboard. You literally, it maxes out at 12 notes, and that's on a mathematical level. You only have, and then you have a harmonics of the same exact thing.
You know all the mysteries. I'm just going to give you the sublime part of it. You said, how come there's only 12? How many tribes of Israel is there?
12.
That's your answer. I just said my family created the music. That's how you know my family created music. We encode everything we say into it. So if there's 12 tribes of Israel and my fathers are their captain, who am I?
Big bars. Love it.
I'm the captain of Israel. So my name one more time. 5, MG the future. What does that MG stand for? It stands for musical genius. We're going backwards. Genius. The way that they try to butcher our language, they'll give you genius a few different ways. You get genius, genie, like Aladdin, blue. You would call me, instead of calling me African American or more, you call me Etruscan. Etruscans are so black, they're blue. Hence why genie is blue. That would be my father's lineage way back, a time before time. We became copper colored. But genie, then genie, you get to a Quran, you'll have jinn, the jinn. These are like these flame spirits that, are around you, but you can't really see them. You gotta be careful because you might be entertaining flame spirits. That's what the Quran says. Same story, by the way. Then you have another one. So you go from genie, jinn to demon. Kind of weird. If you read the Bible, you know about a guy named Solomon, and he had the lesser keys of Solomon. He can control demons. So he can control jinn, he can control genies, he can control genius. Now let's take it all the way to the bottom floor, bottom of Solomon's temple. That's at the bottom of your mind. There are no physical buildings outside. That's why the stars are 5. You put the light inside. You'll notice that all my ancestors have seashells. Sally sold seashells at the seashore. Why was she selling her children for? Doesn't make sense, do it? At the seashore, that means they're selling their children orphans. That's how they got here. You know the orphan train story, don't you? See, our family always rap what's happening around outside. Always. That's because they're part of our tribe. The only difference between everyone else and me is that I'm the captain of the tribe. 13. I'm the new captain. So one more time, genius. It's talking about a genius, a genie, someone who can make wishes, someone who makes you lucky, someone who makes you richer, someone who makes you see a clearer picture when the mirror is foggy. That's me. I'm a genius, not a demon. But law of polarity, you have to have both. I can be a genius and I can be a demon. But not everyone can, only if they're already a genius. Then go back to music. That's an interesting one. Musical. What is that? The reorganization of mathematics from your mind, as you're discussing, into a sound in order to take the idea that's inside you to go through the ears of someone else so they can get the idea too. That's called telepathy. There's no deeper than that. I can convey this to you by rapping to you. I'm doing it right now, apparently. I can bounce around all the syllables and the bones of the letters and the consonants. I can give you the vowels and I can show you how all the vowels move. Understand something? I've been like this my whole life. See, I had to hold back that little light of mine deep inside because the time wasn't right. Now the time is right. So music, musical. You get another word from it, mosaic. What is a mosaic of? It's a mosaic of harmony, frequency, sound, notes. Well, how many notes are there? 12. So music is the mosaic of Israel. Musical. Interesting. But if you can use that same math in music, then you hear some theories about if you play music on sand, you start getting really shapes. They call it sonoluminescence. If you put it in the water, it makes a star just like above you. So that means everything above you, including the 12 signs, is just a song playing all the daggone time. Loop.
That's dope.
Absolutely. Then let's go back down to a lesser sublime. Let's condense what's up in the sky. They say you go from light to dense reality, and now you're here, right? Because you have a soul or light inside. So if everything that has light has math in it, and all the math comes from my tribe, then where do you think your light comes from?
Following.
So how can I sell my soul to somebody who's borrowing a soul from my family?
That's
Now you
deep.
understand why no one could sign me and no one could barely understand me? I can't sell my soul to you when everyone's borrowing our talents. That's the story of talent. We gave everybody one talent, and what they do, they buried it. They didn't even generate no interest. Now the bankers are getting usury. That's not the same thing as interest. If I let you borrow my money for you to buy a whole bunch of properties, you're supposed to generate me interest. So why are you charging me interest rates? That's breaking all the rules again. But they trying to say my family were the demons. I don't understand it. I watched this for 40 years straight. Now I know someone's a snake. Solid Gear, Metal Gear, Solidus, Liquid is snakes. It's all around you. Snake! But they had to send in a clone, didn't they? They
Bars.
said that he was supposed to be dying of fox die or something, meaning he's going to be a super soldier and shut down the world and he's supposed to call for something. That ain't my story. We're a different tone. So you flip around the polarity, meaning everyone that bit from the snake, in the garden, sneaking around and stuff, they said, do not bite from this tree, for you will surely die. Well, who's talking if my parents are writing it? And who are they talking to if I'm not a snake? Now you understand what time it is. Now you understand why everyone who bit from the forbidden fruits are dying from it. COVID, HIV, AIDS, Ozempic is for diabetes. That's a complication of HIV, AIDS, if you need Ozempic. Understand something. We ain't talking about losing your weight and fasting from smoking and stuff. I'm pretty sure this can hurt someone if they were real, but I thought everyone thought this was a matrix or something. Hence why you would need light codes in order to create these prisms in order for you to see each other. So in order to do a light code matrix, wouldn't you need algebra? Who belongs algebra to? My people, cool. So what does the matrix belong to? Is it an answer? How do you get to matrix math? First thing you need is algebra. You go from algebra to matrices, and then you get complex solids. That is the Terrence Howard flower of life trick. 1 times 1 cannot equal 1. If 1 mates with itself, it folds in half. It goes from a Roman numeral I to a little I. That's just a little bit of intelligence inside. Understand something.
That's deep. I like that one. Wait, I gotta pause you here because and I love listening to you on 2x because I really hear the flow with the bars on 2x speed. You really hear the matching words, and but listening in real time is a whole different thing. I'm realizing I'm like entranced by it. But the Terrence Howard thing, for example, not to stop your flow,
Go for it.
is yeah, I was like, why can't Joe Rogan and all these experts understand what he's saying? It's just like a human cell. Like to get to two cells, you have to divide. So it's like one times one can't be one because now you're how do you know what I mean?
I
It's
got you.
it's
So
talking
so
about
let me
the
tell you.
go ahead.
I'm talking about light, ain't I? You need math from your mind to create light. You need algebra to get matrices, right? So if they say one times one equals one, then that means that's an error, right? You can't take the same cell, multiply it against itself, and get a new cell. It has to split in half. Now you understand when you look around, I tell you I'm a descendant of giants, and you laugh. That means someone mixed into our genetics and cut our size in half.
Big
That's
facts.
the problem. There's a snake that bit Eve in the garden. It made all the giants smaller. But there's still snakes here who ain't giants, aren't there? Since
Mm.
my family's been this height since Genghis Khan, 800 years ago. And the
Mm.
snake is here, still here. That's why they try to kill all the firstborn sons, because those are the ones who became Pharaoh. You know the story, Moses. Mark blood on your door, aka abort your babies, only your firstborn sons. And he became Moses, sent him down the river to grow up in, Egypt. And then learn all the science and math again and become a Pharaoh of Egypt. Well, let me tell you the story one more time. Musical genius. Music goes down into mosaic. Mosaic is another way of saying Moshe. Moshe is another way of saying Moses.
Mm.
You notice every time in every story where there's a leader of Israel, they call him a Moses. That's not a name, that's a title. He's Moses. Why? Because he's leading these people from the demon den. And that's always a story in the Bible. And I told you my family wrote the Bible, literally. King James, John Smith, my grandfathers. Switch their names to what they really are. Put some respect on our names. I'm telling you something. We're Khans, not Barbers. Totally different story. Dragon Ball Z, Johan, Yoku. Same story. We came from Japan, shorty, 400 years ago. Flying dragons, because we had spaceships. Dragon Ball Z's and backflips. We built everything. That's a sandcastle, especially if everyone's still building out of wood today. If they weren't with us building all these giant buildings, then where did they come from? If they still got wood today, they see the spaceships all around. Then they go to where I stay. First time the UAPs touched down before January 25th, they're around the Temple of the Mound. That's in New Jersey. New Jerusalem. I was born in Triton, Three Kings, Triton, New Jerusalem. So if all those light codes are in my name, every time I say it, we go from musical Moshe. What am I really saying? These demons told you was waiting for Jesus. What is his name? Jesus wasn't his name. I thought it was Emmanuel, Emmanuel. Sounds like a cool name. What was the other name? Oh, he was a Nazarene from Galilee. Cool. That ain't where I stay. So what's his really name? Quran again. You got to switch over to a new story. They say that his name was Isa. You do all those names. Jesus and Jesus. Zeus, Jupiter's son or something. That's interesting. Jupiter's the blue one. Isa, let's go switch to another language. That's algebra. You can switch to variables and tell the same story, like light, colors, and music. I'm doing the same thing every time I tell you a story. So Isa, what did I say my name was? Deson. Isa's right in the middle of it, ain't it? But I'm not Jesus. And this ain't a story about a prophet trying to save people. Because the only guardian of the tribes of Israel is an archangel, and his name is Michael. That's how I know these demons wrote the Bible. I am Archangel Michael. I created music. Musical genius. The demon that's inside or the angel that's inside of me is Michael. For God, for love this world, that she gave it her only begotten son here. Begotten is a modifier. The only son of God here is Michael. You should read your Bible.
I
But
like
they
that.
put different stories, so you had to use algebra to put it together with your eyes closed. Like, damn, what happened to Archangel Michael? Isn't he the one that comes back to kill Satan? Now you understand why I know everything about the snakes then. I didn't come here to save people. I came here to kill Satan. And if I kill Satan, I save people, I can save me a few designations. Why do I want to hang on the cross for? I know y'all can't hear me or understand me. So I had to come here and blend in like I was one of your family.
Oh, bars. I gotta give you that. That was hard.
They said that in those days that the wolf shall lay down with the sheep. You thought it was a lion. Tribe of Judah again. Hi, that's me. Read your Bible again. It says the wolf. Now think about my logo. Is it not a black wolf yelling at the moon in white like a sheep?
That very thought out. That was
It's not thought out. It's my family's language. It's always going to say the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again. That's how I know everyone else stole it from us. That's why everybody is under this type of weird punishment, because they knew that all of this was built and given to them by my ancestors who were angels, and then they started worshiping a government. Who do you think the Electorate College really is? And how come you've never met them? So that means someone's lying and they must have killed us. Just because we're in these bodies don't make us impervious until there's a certain time period. We only show up every 400 years as archangels. Noah's Ark wasn't a wood ship. There it goes again. There was those sneaky seraphim trying to rewrite a story to include them. Nah, we make spaceships. Ark ship is to collect DNA. All of you are filled with DNA, ain't you?
right.
That's why the light codes is inside of you, ain't it? That means the math is inside of you, ain't it? So I'm not telling you a story. I'm giving you the light codes from my blood and DNA, and it has all the tribes in it, ain't it? Epigenetics, certain thought sequences, meditate, hold your breath, whatever you got to do, kid, but you can reawaken certain genes. If you're sick, think about being better. If you're stupid, think about being smarter. If you're stuck on a beat, think about finishing it, and then the rest will just unwind itself. You know, DNA is like a snake. It's kind of twisted in on itself. Well, take your time, untwist it just a little bit, and you'll start to inspire yourself. Understand something. I couldn't freestyle this long about the same story if I was making something up. I want you to talk to your best freestyler and see if they can make something this awesome up. You think they're going to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about when they're watching me to try to figure out what I'm talking about? When I gave them all the degrees and I didn't ask them for nothing. You understand? It's the same story. Didn't Jesus give all the healing and say, yo, go for it and sin no more? Same story. Didn't Daniel and all the prophets say, yo, I'm telling you, everyone's lying to you. Get out of the burning house. Martin Luther King. Same story. Isn't every time we try to save the same people who take everything from us, but the same story? That's kind of interesting. They kept rewriting the same story, but today in 2025, everyone forgot the same story. Then how come I'm the only one here that knows the same story? See, no matter what I say, we won't be talking about the same story. That's what singularity is. They try to do singularity by doing 1 times 1 equals 1. That's not singularity. That's the mirror principle you were talking about, where they can't see themselves because they didn't add anything interesting to themselves. So they're looking outside of themselves, but they're impossible to see inside themselves. So instead of looking at a mirror, you got to close your eyes and look inside yourself. How do you fix what's inside of yourself if you're staring at a mirror? Meditation. I guess they taught everyone else they got to close their eyes or something just to get a peek at what's inside. Why do I got to peek at what's inside if what's inside is light and my little light of mine is already shining bright? That means it can be dark outside and I'm still going to be the sunshine. Understand something? My middle name is Dasan. Dasan. My mother's name is Sonya, son of God. Put them together, Dasanya. The son of God is Michael, because God is Gabriel, who visits all the people before they born. You know, St. John, my grandfather, Gabriel, who visited Isa, Gabriel. Let's do it again. Gabriel, G, B, R, L, R vowels, E's, were lights. Geb, Re, L. There goes again. G-E-B, Geb, R-E-Y, Ray, sun ray, E-L, light that's inside. Read it backwards. Le, Re, Geb. Spanish, the son of God. Gabriel's the son. The son of Gabriel, because God is Gabriel. That's why the Masons try to lock it down and put it on their compass. How you going to lock down an archangel? Are you stupid or something? What is this Scientology? You want to crash into our volcanoes? You didn't make the station. What you trying to change the channel for? Why are you in my grandmother's living room trying to change the station? Don't you know that this whole station, I could change it with a Mandela effect. Now you look up Mandel's law. Isn't that about blood again?
Going back to the DNA, I had to mute my mic because my son was crying. So if you heard me, be quiet. That's why.
Mandela is talking about the light codes inside your DNA and that the apex genetics always wins. Well, if it's as within, so without, if you light code your DNA, then what should happen outside? Now take a look outside. Ain't UAPs everywhere, right?
Right.
Might
Mysterious
not be
balloon.
paying attention to it, but I can tell you a few channels to pay attention to. They haven't stopped paying attention to it.
What was it? I saw the video with the fires. I saw one flying on camera or something.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Let me tell you the story one more time so it's a little bit clearer. Same thing again. Abraham and Sarah, Adam and Eve outside of the Garden of Eden, Eden, Saturn E-ring, Pentagon E-ring, same story. Now let's talk about Sarah and Abraham. They walking up on shorties. Mind you, the demons rewrote it trying to make it seem gory. There ain't nothing gory about glory, so you already know who wrote it or tried to. They're incompetent. They don't know algebra. 1 times 1 people. Them people. That ain't us, kid. That's why our music is so beautiful. We know how to add up shit. Understand something? So Abraham and Sarah got visited by 3 sons of God. There they go again. And then one stayed behind with Abraham, and then the other 2 kept running so they can catch up to Lot. Understand something? Lot's in Sodom and Gomorrah chilling, having a great time or something. It's just like Atlanta, shorty. Forget what they're talking about. I never lived in the desert. They better watch their mouth. A desert doesn't mean sandcastles. A desert could be an oasis. A desert could be anywhere that you're stuck and there's nothing else around you. You're deserted, like a desert at night. Is that sandcastles or is that something frozen? It could be ice, right? Since this is the shell of Jupiter and it's covered in ice, if you look up Jupiter 2, you understand that it has the perfect ingredients for life. Now you know where you at. I couldn't make that up if I tried. Now anyway, Abraham and Sarah again. So 1 and 2, so 2 went on Sodom and Gomorrah to meet up with Lot. And what happened? What happened? You can read it again. It's right there in Genesis. The gene of Isis. There was Venus again. Venus and Gabriel is the same thing again. So it's the genes of Gabriel, the children of God through genetics. There goes the light code again because I said her name was Gabriel with all E's, right? Now read it again. I said El Geb. Algebra. Same thing. You think I'm telling you a different story? I keep teaching you algebra. Since the matrix is the womb and that comes from your mother. Look in your Bible. When they mention the word womb, it says matrix. Matrix is quantum algebra. What does quantum mean? 4 tombs. Who's 4? The 4 Khans. It's Khan's tomb. You play Diablo and games like that. What's a tomb? A Jed pillar, a scroll, a Dead Sea scroll. Well, the Dead Sea is Mar-a-Lago. Mars is dead. Lago is not an ocean. So where does Trump stay? The trumpet in Revelations. Don't he stay in the Dead Sea, aka Mar-a-Lago? Then how come everyone understands that they could read and got degrees and swore they wrote the Bible? They don't even understand, and I ain't even got my eyes open. Because it's my family's story. And my family are angels, not monkeys. So, one more time. Abraham and Sarah's story. 2 went to Sodom and Gomorrah. What happened? All them dudes out there was looking kind of weird, had eyelashes on, had BBLs, had, different wigs on. They're trying to get at 2 angels. Sons of gods are angels. They're not God. They're the son of God. El Geb. They're the children of Gabriel. Very specific. Gabriel ain't the only archangel. That's this story, though. Let's talk about it. Since she wrote the book about her children, where are we then? All right, then. So, Eden, even, Venus, same story. You must be in Gabriel's room or, I don't know, spaceship. Since we don't bend sandcastles and have wooden boats like we some monkeys, we already conquered space. Shit. Why you think there's so much UAPs taking up all this space and none of these planes can land and they're turning upside down and different fires? Oh, that's what I was talking about, Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember, they were trying to try Tartarian giants. So Lot was like, hurry up and get inside. And the 2 giants was like, what I need to get inside for? You think these monkeys is going to beat a Tartarian giant with wings on? Please, shorty, we'll handle this shortly. Let's see what they talking about. Hey, yo, son, yo, you looking kind of good or whatever. How about you come out? Like, yo, blasphemy. What you talking about? Do you know the only unforgivable sin in the Bible is blasphemy, and that is to disrespect something that's cherished by God. What does God cherish more than her children? And if her children are the archangels, then what is blasphemy? The only unforgivable sin is when you try an archangel. So there's two archangels out there walking inside of Lot's house, ain't it? But remember, you should be careful who you entertain because they might be angels. Now you understand why the people in Atlanta look at me, but they don't see the angel.
That's deep. It says we have less. It says we have less than a minute, but I'm gonna let you rock till the wheels fall off. The wheels in the sky.
So they came to visit Lot real quick. Ezekiel's wheel. That's the wheels that are in the sky. We got a couple. Since I'm Michael and Ezekiel, those are just different designations. Behold a pale horse, because he's on a ride. Understand something. So what I'm saying is,
dang. What I'm saying is you got to go subscribe to MG the Future for part 2. He was breaking down stuff to where I was like, wow, was not expecting that at all. Let me do one thing here. I got to load up an app so I can pull up my camera real quick because I'm on the free Zoom. So it kicks me out after a minute. Hold on, guys. So that is MG the Future. Here we go. I went mute because my son was being put down for a nap and he was getting loud. One of these days I'm gonna pay for Zoom, but thank you. Firstly, don't make me check your struggle beats because you're trying to learn how to do MIDI. Oh, I freestyle. Oh yeah. So that was bar. If you guys listen in 2x, you will hear that bar connection. I was sitting there in my brain like, dang, he's really connecting the words off of just flow, which is crazy. Hold on one second. But yeah, that taught me a lot, actually. Firstly, I want to thank MG the Future for teaching me. There was like nuanced concepts, but you answered the stuff beneath the question that I would actually have. Algebra Son. Hold on one sec. So that was, yeah. So that's MG the Future. He actually went to the layer of, and he's giving y'all facts in the chat right now. He actually went to the layer of basically what makes people move. He went to, what I loved was when he broke down, how do I explain this? In my head, I'm seeing it more like a frequency. Imagine like that little twin snake thing, that little pillar, the little doctor symbol. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's called Hermes doctor symbol or something like that. This thing here. Okay, it's called the caduceus. The caduceus. All right, so the caduceus, I'm probably saying that way wrong. Let me read his chats real quick. He says, he says, have fun. Antoinette the Barber, Ali. I can see your French African degrees. Freestyle while your hair is still happy. Or nappy, same story. That's hilarious. That's the dirty families that betrayed us. Angels don't walk alone. Same story. Shout out to MG for constantly breaking it down. But yeah, I had the free Zoom, so forgive me on that. I was trying to, it said 10 minutes remaining, but then it said 1 minute remaining, and it caught me off guard. So my fault on that. Is a symbol of medicine. Yeah, the way I'm understanding what MG is saying is more like, I know I'm using symbols that don't mean the same thing, but I'm thinking of it like what's it called? Sephira. Okay, not Sephora, but the Sephiroth, or one of these. I know I'm gonna mix the names up. It's been a minute, y'all. I haven't studied Kabbalah in a minute. What is that thing called? Map. This thing. Okay. Oh, I spelled it wrong. No wonder. Okay, Sephiroth. Okay. He says, it's an angel, same story. Didn't I say everything you're going to say? And this is the same story, singularity. So the way I'm comprehending, this could be, again, off. MG's, what he's saying basically is like, okay, the way, and forgive me, I don't have the degree to teach this, y'all. So y'all got to bear with me on this one. So if you open up this picture, this is taught in what's called Kabbalah, which is uh, a style of teaching. And basically, they believe that the lowest frequency, and I'm generalizing because this goes deeper into symbology. He said busy works in Scientology. I do have a lot of Scientology books. You know, it's crazy. I never told people this, but there's a bank that is a Scientology bank. I'm like, really? They own a bank? It's crazy. Shout out to MG. Snakes don't have wings. Someone lied again. Ali, same story. Busy works in Scientology. He didn't know I was an archangel. That's all. That's why he's crashing internally. So if you zoom in here to the Sephirot, aka my lessons on my channel. Yeah, shout out to MG the Future. Go subscribe if you don't tap into his live streams. He says Venus flytrap, same story. Go tap into his live streams. His recent ones, again, I play them at 2x speed. So it's a little bit fast for me to consume. But real quick, in this story of the Sephirot, basically they teach how God is at the top. And then there's all these like energy layers before you get to Earth, which is the kingdom of Earth at the bottom. And so the way I'm comprehending what MG is saying about algebra, this could be off. So I don't want to, this is just my brain working. It's like algebra was created up here. And because, as above, so below, you see the same concept in the lower realm of Earth, we'll say. So if, algebra is created at the top, these even kind of look like music notes in a way. It's like that frequency can travel through all these medium to get to and I think he brought up, when he talked about sublime and the gas layer and the liquid layer and man, I'm forgetting all my words, condensed layers of reality. Earth is condensed, meaning we perceive it as physical, even though when you zoom into an atom, it's a lot of empty space, but we perceive it as hard and physical. Just think of it as frequency. The way I understand MG is like the people he was speaking of create the oscillation. I think he said tribe of Judah. Forgive me if I'm, again, mixing up your words. I'm going off of I tried to take notes in my head. So his people created the oscillation. So think of like how Dave Smith Instruments created a Prophet 6 or a Prophet 08 or a Prophet 5. What they did was they created the voltage and the capacitors and resistors in order to create the oscillation from electricity. So imagine I'm saying MG's people are like the people who made the synthesizer for the whole reality we experience. And I could be off on that. That was kind of like freestyle. He says, yes, because America doesn't have successful producers anymore. They stole from angels and took their glory. Now they're burning down in Atlanta. Get it? Same story. Bars. So we talked about basically, this spawned off of when I said to MG, has he noticed a lot of content creators tend to not credit the source? And then they kind of take our teachings and then they kind of run it into the ground. And then at some point they kind of collapse on themselves, because they never gave credit to the people who actually created the concepts and the foundational layers. It says, then read each line backwards, one by one to top, Jacob's ladder, bars. That's how I understood DNA. So I know we went really, really deep, but MG is just, I don't know if he studies so much or just a flow, but you guys got to go subscribe to him, because when he speaks, it's just so much, like he'll say a sentence and that sentence could be 5 hours of study. So that's I can't go that deep with the concepts that he was talking about. But if you guys like layers and layers and layers and layers and, metaphors and symbols that always tie back to the same narrative, then that's your guy, the go-to. He says, read up on one at a time my lines. Also, he has the chord book, not to be all over the place, but I showed you guys the chord book the other day. So if you go to mgthefuture.com, let me show you guys in real time, actually. Why am I trying to? But you want to go to his website. I have it linked in the description. I want to show you guys how to create melodies really quickly using his chord book. I have the chord book bundle. and which I did buy. So I'm telling you guys stuff I actually use here, or would support. So what we're gonna do is go to user, go to where it says import chord set, find wherever you guys downloaded it. So I have these. Where did I put that? I think I put it in the hard drive. Let's go to the hard drive real quick. Let's look up MG the Future and then look up his chord book. So you have to do it per chord book. So highlight chord book 1, for example. Start at the first XML, hit shift, highlight all these, and then basically you can import them into Scalar. And I'll show you guys why this is important. So remember that he said some kind of cadence. I forgot the name of it already. See, I'm forgetting. But he just off the top was like, that's a whatever cadence. So his study of music theory is just on a different plane. All right, so we're going to click here and load up some of his chords. And I'll tell you why this is dope. Because what we could do is click what's called the, what is this called? Bind incoming MIDI notes to chord trigger. So now I can use one note to trigger an entire chord. He said, let me slow down on this one. Al-Andalusian cadence. I've never heard of that before. So the fact that he put us on to that even is dope. So again, you can play one note on your keyboard, and I'll show you guys why this is a secret for production. So anytime you guys feel like your music is stuck, MG figured out the voicing and the chords that lead into each other. So it feels more, you can create more variation instead of the same 2 chords. Now you have like 6 chords. How many chords is here? 8 chords here. Oh, that ending is fire. You hear that tension, that dun, dun, dun. Because he's listening to what's called the voice leading. So that's the cool part about Scalar 2, which I recommend you guys have for music theory, but also teaching you guys melodies and chords and making stuff so much easier. So the only time I use it really for the chords is if I'm using a chord set from like MG, for example. And nextly, we're going to go to where it says perform. And here's where it gets a little cooler, because now you can create melodies from this stuff. And I'm playing one note. So this is similar to the Karma engine on my Chord Chronos. This is one of those secrets. I'm like, why is nobody talking about the Chord Chronos and the Karma engine? It's because some of your favorite producers don't want you to know that they pressed one button and came up with the melody. So for example, let me turn my thing on. So let me let you guys see what the Karma engine sounds like. So here's a chord. Now I'm just playing D minor. The MG set the foundation for a lot of stuff. I always want to show my respect. Because I meant to apologize, because one time I even came at his live stream one time purposely to like try to disturb stuff, and I was just on some BS. I don't know why. This is back in the day, maybe 2019 or something. I was just on some BS, to be honest. And I think I was even trying to defend people from the ClickFunnels times, like Curtis King, Gabe from Legion Beats, Anno Domini. Funny, it's like I'm defending all these people who don't show up for me. So like, what was I doing? Curtis Kingdom flipped on us. It's like, why am I defending these people? But it was just a matter of different perspectives on that. Anyhow, I meant to apologize for that. But let me let you guys hear the Karma engine. So I'm playing the same chords. Okay, so that's the Karma engine. Now I put it on one of the modes, but you can set it to melodic mode. So basically this is you guys' version of the Karma engine inside of Scalar, and you can leverage MG the Future's chords that actually make sense together with the voicing. It's not just the chord, it's the voicing of the chord, like how you arrange the notes. So you basically have the Karma engine inside of your DAW, and you don't have to use Scalar for the sound. So let me show you guys. Let me just load up Hercules because it's right here. Let's go to some kind of, actually I want to use my new plugin called Hypnos. Let's go to Core Library. Let's go to guitar because it has easier guitars. And what you could do is go to Scalar, go to your gear icon, go to the wrench tool here, set the output for the MIDI to 0. Think of it like a cable. You're creating a virtual cable. And then we're going to go to Hypnos, go to the settings here, the wrench tool, and we're going to set it to input. So we're connecting the 0 cable to the input of another synth, basically. So we're cabling them together. So now when I play scalar, it actually plays the sounds from Hypnos. So that's how you guys can use this inside of your plugins. Let me go down 1 octave here. Hold on, let me do one thing here. Let me. Oh, you know what? I forgot we're not triggering directly, so that doesn't do anything. Never mind. Johnny Giuliano. Johnny Giuliano. Wait. Okay, so we can even switch to performance. It doesn't have to be that basic. We could go to, let's go to performances. There could be arpeggios. So if you guys like more. Shout out to, what was a guy? Booney. I forgot his name. Okay, so that's how you create melodies out of chords. So it starts here. So, and the coolest part about MG's pack is that you could literally just left click and have a whole new vibe. This is more R&B in my opinion. And then you can also hit the semitone value to move it up or down. Let's go up 3. Now you get more introspective. Right off the rip. Y'all talking about soul. This is soul right here. So grab that chord book. This is in chord book volume 2, but I recommend you guys get the chord book bundle. Let me actually find that link for you guys because it's worth it. Because this saves so much brain power when it comes to trying to figure out the vibe. Hold on, MG the Future. Once you learn that melodic combo I just showed you guys. Now, I have not used Scalar 3, so I don't know if you could still buy Scalar 2, but they're apparently going to release Scalar 3. So you guys want to be careful not, I don't know how to use the new plugin. I'm assuming it's the same type of way. But here's the, let me link this too in the YouTube description real quick. Oops. MG the Future chord book bundle. Boom. Yeah, I'd highly recommend the chord book bundle because as you guys can see, we're getting vibes out of it. Super easy. This one's fire though. And again, the sounds are from a different, it could be from any plugin. Let's swap out the sound. And then we need to play the scalar in order to trigger. And he has what, 8 chords here? Let's switch it up. Jeesh. This is like R&B RS. And you get, hold on. What up, Singular? Crazy, that's fire. That's probably my favorite one. Because, I don't know if you guys could see, but it's kind of hard to see. But okay. So the notes that light up is the chord. So if you look at how he voiced the chord, this is why I said it goes beyond just picking a chord type. You have to know how to voice it for the genre. So this may look simple, like G minor 7th chords, but it's the way he voiced it. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have the 1st and the 5th in the bottom of the chord. And then we have 8, 9, 10. We have the 7th played normally. And then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So basically it's a raised third of a 7th chord. Now, if you played it normally, it would sound like this. So what was that, G sharp minor? So G sharp would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So here's the normal voicing. It doesn't have the R&B vibe as much. So MG figured out a way to give it the R&B flavor and program it into scalar so you don't have to do all this. So basically he raised that third. Has a much more open vibe to it. And he got the MPC chord book for the MPC folks out there. Working on some crazy jazz dubstep and my computer's messed up. You probably melted the CPU on that one. What's up, X? Is that an FL plugin? You have to buy it from Plugin Boutique, but it's definitely worth it. I use it a lot to find the key of the song, to make sure I'm in the right key. I use it a lot. And as you see, this is fire. I'm going to start using this more for my, now that I just installed it. Scalar 3 is going to be fire. I feel like they're taking too long to drop it. Just crazy. So many variations. So this will help you guys get past beat block because you're going to have more variations. And again, the secret here is like the performance mode nobody really talks about. You can also create what are called phrases. I'm pretty sure the people making packs use this to make their packs. Like I can make phrases here. Let me turn my plugin down. Hold on. Not even just crazy. This is a vibe, and I'm just pressing one key. Insanity. So you guys need his core packs, period. Core books. And apparently if you're an MPC user, he has the MPC core books too. You said everyone respects MG. Everyone respects this MG guy so much. I'm going to spend some time on his page and learn because I feel like I've never been more lost in my life, and I'm just being honest. Yeah, you know what MG does that is his specialty? From my perspective, is like how do I explain this? He'll explain something that you think is the whole definition to something, and then he'll give you the layer beneath that definition to where you fully understand the actual definition. I know that's very nuanced to say, but like he gives you that missing piece to give you clarity as to what the thing is about. Like when he was talking about, I know this was more symbolic, but Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, the snake, what other concepts, you know, the 12 disciples, the 12 keys on a keyboard, like just the layer that you need to be like, oh, this is why this thing works. It's the why layer. He explains the layer to give you the why. That's why I think he does really well. The blatant networks, the Scalar 3 is going to be fire. I feel like I missed the chat somewhere. Is Pro Tools better than FL? I feel like there are two use cases. They're just different. Pro Tools is more for recording vocals, in my opinion, and bands. FL is more for like making beats. How do you install Hercules and Hypnos? If you email me at info@busyworksbeats, I'll show you. But keep in mind the installation video comes with the download, Dan Trail, so you can get the step-by-step. You want to watch that installation video because I made sure to include new instructions for people on Mac. Because if you don't do it right on Mac, you have to follow those things to a T. So yeah, I'll figure out where you're stuck in that. But yeah, that video is going to be everything you need to know for PC and Mac. He said he makes it seem like you got to be born into something. That's a good question for him. I got to ask him that one. Can people learn the craft to that level, or is it just you have to be born with it? That's a good question. I never thought to ask him that. Well, that's hard. This is some New Jack Swing right here. That last chord is crazy. Heavenly voicing on that one. So yeah. Well, this is hard right here. This says, what vibe does this give me? Oh, he hit us with the right. Oh, freak. Oh, he hit me with the exact chord I was expecting. Yo. Holy moly. So forget your MIDI packs. Get the chord books and get Scalar. Just buy MG's chord book bundle, get Scalar. Stop buying MIDI packs from these kids who don't really know what they're doing. Nako says, hey, I have some problems with making melodies and some tips for arrangement, beats, how to use filters, etc. That's more nuance. I'm gonna have to get into that later. But this is it. This is the progression right here. My ear hears. What's that song? Wait, it's a song that goes like that. Man, it's gonna bother me. I feel like it's like either J. Cole or Diggy. Somebody. That triggers a lot of memories. Okay, that's very up. Okay, so let's get to a couple more secrets and then I'll wrap this up. So I showed you guys how Melodyne is used. So I'll grab a melody from, let's do a pack here. I think his melody loops in here if I'm not mistaken. If not, I'll just grab something from the Discord. Let me find it. Discord pack. So if you guys didn't know, you want to check your email. We sent out a Discord pack so that from everybody in our Discord, I picked the best melodies and stuff. So let's say you really like a melody from a pack or whatever. What I was telling you guys earlier is how Melodyne was built for finding the frequency of a rock. Let's go to maybe a Latin one. Now you can't really take that's more of a vibe of a vocal in my opinion. Okay, so like this one, let's say you like that melody. Let's drag it into FL at 134. What the kids would be doing, and I made a whole video about this, I meant to credit MG, is they'll run this through Melodyne. So let's hit Control L, load up Melodyne. Where is it at? Melodyne. We're gonna hit record or track, I should say. Why is this? Oh my god! I already have it activated. Now it wants me to activate it again. Hold on, y'all. This is so frustrating because I already did this. Now I gotta find this freaking thing. This is so annoying. Give me a sec, y'all. Melodyne. Okay, setting password. Now I gotta find the original email with the serial number. Here it is. Okay, serial number. Got it. Boom, enter. It says an update has already been performed for this license. Okay, well, what the freak? Okay, so I assume it did what it was supposed to be doing. I don't know if I did that right or wrong. Who knows? That was a weird process. Anyhow, we have it here. We're going to hit what's called transfer. I think we did it. I don't think it's active. Yeah, because usually this transfer button would be highlighted. I don't think it's... Let me make sure it's not it's not activated, I don't think. This is so corny, dog. Anyhow, they hit transfer. You record the notes. They'll show up as yellow blips, and then you go to where it says settings, and then preferences. Or usually it says like settings, and then render as MIDI or something like that, or export as MIDI. That's how these kids do it. I would show it to you guys, but I don't know why it's tripping. Let me try one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to stress over this stupid stuff. Okay, hold on. You said chord book for MPC and scalar on sale for $40 now? That's nuts. Let me try this one more again, y'all, because it's worth showing you on the screen. I don't know why this is acting up. Anyhow, it's just not it's not letting me activate it, so I don't know why. License. Okay, here's the pop-up. Copy this URL. We're taking you to a licensing site. Okay, copy URL. I already have a license, so what the freak is the problem? This is why we should just get rid of iLok. I say we protest iLok and all this back-end licensing BS. It only frustrates us. It doesn't help us at all. It only makes the actual buyers more frustrated than people who actually steal it. Okay. It says how to activate your free full version with Pro Tools. register, activate all you need. I already did this. What the freak? Oh my gosh, this is so stupid. But yeah, I was trying to show you guys the actual step-by-step, but it's just acting dumb, and I don't have time to problem solve right now. But that's that on that. I know that was kind of like, wow, that just kind of killed the vibe, but sorry, y'all. I tried to show you the secrets. But anyhow, what you do is you record into Melodyne, and then you use the settings there, and you could render it out to MIDI. You could put it on, you should put it on the master track. You think that's going to change the pop-up? It could. No, I think it's just the, I don't know, something, it's been glitching for years. It's just on their side of things. But yeah, there goes that sauce. So now you have the guys have the scalar sauce. You have the Melodyne sauce for melodies. I'd say probably the last technique is an Ableton, which is the groove. So I can really only explain this in Ableton. So let me load up Ableton Live. I don't think I have Ableton Live on this computer. Dang, I don't have Ableton. Somebody asked me why I haven't been doing Ableton videos. Well, because I forgot to install Ableton on this computer. But what I'll do is just show you guys the concept of it. It's called Ableton Extract Groove. So all you have to do in Ableton, let me find a good picture for y'all. So when you're in Ableton, you simply, I believe you right click on your sample that's in the playlist. And then you hit this thing that says extract groove. So what a lot of people do for their packs or for their hi-hats, what they'll do is they'll get a real drum break. Like, oh, let me actually, okay, I can show you this in FL, but it's not the same thing. Okay, so I could actually show this to you in FL. So let's say we have a drum break and we want to copy the groove of something. Let's do this in FL. I might as well show you guys the secrets here. Okay, so let's pick a different groove. Hold on. That one's kind of weird. Let's do something normal. I'm on a Mac Mini M4 Pro, thanks to you guys. Okay, so let's say you like that groove. In FL, what you could do is load the sample up in Slice. So you double click on it, you right click, go to open in Slice. And what Slice does is by default, it adds transient markers. So what you could do is click this button here, this left click button, or you could right click and select the style. I recommend you guys just keep it on medium auto slicing because the trick is you want the timing of the notes. And then what we're going to do is dump this to a piano roll. So we're going to hit this button here. This is dump score log. We're going to go to the piano roll. Now what we're doing is copying the microscopic time differences. So if I zoom in, you'll see that all these notes aren't perfectly locked to the grid. So what happens if I take the same pattern, for example, and run it through a hi-hat, for example. So the way we're going to do this is open up a hi-hat, hit Control V. I think I learned this technique from Sicky Beats, if I'm not mistaken. Go inside, hit Alt K. Anytime you have multiple notes that are all over the place, hit Alt K, make your key C, make your scale none, and then make sure this is, range is at C5. So only one note, hit accept. So now it has all the timing from the drum groove, but as a hi-hat. And now you have that human like bounce. So that's how these kids are coming up with their MIDI packs. They're not programming hi-hats by hand. They're extracting the drum groove from an actual drum break in an actual drummer. They're pasting it as MIDI, as a one MIDI file with the singular note, pardon me. And then what they'll do is they'll go to the drop down, they'll go to File, and they save it as a score. Okay, so they save score as, and then a score is different than MIDI because a score copies the timing. So for example, let's save score as, let's save it as, let's just do on my downloads, hi-hat timing. Okay, so now we have that as a score. So what is a score? We can now open up, if we go to pattern 3, for example, and let's say you want a groove. Let's say you have your hi-hats like this, but they're too basic. Okay, so this is just very basic. There's no bounce, there's no difference in timing. What you can do is go to the top left of the piano roll, go to File, Open Score. Actually, here's a faster way. You can hit Alt Q. Okay, you're going to go to where it says Template, hit this little folder, and then find your score file. And what it's doing is it's quantizing the hi-hats according to the offset timing. So if we pull back the sensitivity, it does it less and less and less. But so let's see. Now, because there's so many notes, it's trying to cram on one note. It gets a little hairy. That's why I recommend you guys do it the other way, which is just copy directly from the file and paste it in, because it just saves a lot of headache. But you can also save this stuff as a score as well. So that's the secret nobody really talks about in FL Studio. There's a faster way to do it in Ableton. You extract what's called the groove. The groove. Okay, you just right click your sample, go to extract groove. And then when you're in your piano roll and stuff, you can actually trigger your groove from, I forget, here it is. You see where it says groove in the bottom left there? It's a little hard to see. This area right here, you can actually click the drop down and load grooves from different drums. So that's why Ableton producers are so much more in the pocket with their melodies, because what they'll do is they'll play a melody by hand, they'll extract the groove from the drums, and they'll apply the groove to the melody so that the melody matches the timing of the drums and it feels more in pocket. And that's a technique that is kind of lost in FL because nobody really knows you could do that. So let me show you guys how to do this. Let's see if we could do it easily with this. It may or may not work the same way because FL, I showed you guys some of the things that could happen. So let's create a melody using MIDI. So this is better with MIDI. I haven't seen it done with audio the same way in FL, because in FL, they don't have the same time stretch algorithm as Ableton. Ableton has a much better time stretch algorithm. Let's use Keyscape here. And I'm just going to play some chords, some kind of melody to this groove. Okay. Of course, I got the long time counting. Okay. Freestyle then kind of wasn't the exact melody. Okay, so now we're going to go in and remember we have that score. Okay, let's hit Alt Q. Let's add a template here. And because we have the score file, again, just to give you guys step by step, what you do is you take your drum break, you double click, you right click, open it up in Slice, hit this audio slice button right here, left click. And then what you do is you hit where it says dump score to piano roll. So now you have it as MIDI notes. I'm gonna move this to a new pattern here. Okay, go inside your piano roll. And then what you could do here is go to piano roll settings, go to file, and then save a score as. Okay, so you can save this wherever. Let's just call it piano. Let's call it drum break rhythm. And now we can go back to our melody, which is in here, double click. Let's hit Alt Q. And then as a template, we have to load up what's called the score file. This is different than MIDI. It's not the same as MIDI. Let's go to drum break, rhythm, add this in. And now we can quantize it with the sensitivity button here. Now this is a little tricky because you have to really finesse these buttons. See how some kind of jumble up? This is why it really depends on the drum break, and that's why Ableton's a little bit better. So now I'm hard quantizing. And now it's a little bit more in the pocket. And then I would hit it with the remove overlaps, because there are some overlaps. This part's a little tricky because but you hear that swing goes dun, 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 dun. That's because the drums were doing that. So this is the only area where I would fix the timing here. Again, here it's a little too fast. I'm going to fix that later. Okay, so I would only have to fix up a couple notes, but now it has the more human groove to it. So that's what you could do in FL. Again, it's a little more accurate in Ableton. In FL, you got to do all this like stuff to make it work, but that's another secret nobody really talks about. So I feel like we put you into a lot of music production secrets. I don't want to make this video go so long. Oh, you guys can't see me. Where? Hold on. Y'all can't see me the whole time? Hold on, y'all. What happened to my phone? My phone just decided to lock itself. That's weird. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I thought y'all could see me that whole time. Come on. Let's see. Here we go. Does it want to work? Hold on, I got to reconnect, y'all. Give me a second. Why is this tripping? Anyhow, luckily the masterclass is over, but let me at least try to fix this little camera thing. What the heezy? Okay, now we're working. Okay. All right, guys. So again, I have no idea how that locked itself. That was weird. All right. So what else is there to teach you guys? I don't even know. If you guys have questions, maybe your questions might spawn a new secret technique that I forgot about. Let me make sure we're still live too. Hopefully I didn't press a button. All right, but yeah, so again, go grab the chord books. There's a reason why we were flying through those melodies earlier. And I got to remember to email you guys that Sound Engineer book link. How to fit the sample to the tempo. Every sample is different, so there's no cookie cutter thing I could give you. But I will make a more sample-based course for you guys, because you guys asked me similar questions. Different beats hit different with 4/4 timing, 3/4. I agree. I tried 6/8 one time, but it was just so slow I couldn't get into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just too slow for me. Somebody said how to fit the sample to the tempo. Somebody said you stretch the sample. Yeah, but there's a little nuance to that question though. Low key got to make some trap nowadays. I've been slacking in beat battles. Something about trap, something about just how hard it is. It just gets people excited. All right, guys. So I think that's all that I had to go over for today. It says, hey, I have some problem with making melody and some tips for arrangement. Oh yeah, I remember that question. So I don't want to eat up more time because I have a lot of stuff to build. So I'm going to get to building. Shout out to MG the Future. Again, go to mgthefuture.com and grab the chord book bundle. All right, guys. Peace. Wishing you guys well. Peace. Okay. Unfiltered says, that's dope. Let me screenshot that. Thank you. Unfiltered. All right, y'all. I got